You know, as a creator, life is a lot easier when you realize that literally anything can be a video. The only question is, can you make it entertaining? Hello everyone, welcome back to my channel, and today we are going to do something that I never thought I'd do, but I'm here now, so it's happening. I'd also like to give a quick shout out to my sibling, who unfortunately is no longer present here with me in my room, but they got me these books, so if it wasn't for them, this wouldn't be possible, so thank you. Appreciate you. So a little backstory about me. When I was in middle school, I used to really love books that I found on my own in the library. But as I grew up and reading became mandatory, I kind of lost interest in it, because a lot of the time the books we were asked to read, I wasn't really interested in the first place. So I mean, who's gonna enjoy something that they were kind of forced to do, you know? And it wasn't even until recently that I discovered that my favorite genre of book is utopia / dystopian novels. So I started to, find books that were along those lines. If I remember correctly, I believe the first dystopian novel that I read was The Giver by Lowry. I believe that's the author, Lowry. And unfortunately I don't have that book, but I do remember when I was reading it, I was like, I need to find more books like this. And then in my sophomore year of high school, we had to read Animal Farm by George Orwell, which I unfortunately do not have either. But I remember in the middle of the book looking towards the end where they have similar books, and I remember distinctly finding Brave New World by Aldous Huxley, and also 1984 by George Orwell. And I remember I looked up kind of like the synopsis of the book, and I was like, I need to get my hands on those books. So now I have them and I've read them. I think my favorite thing about these two books is that they really are dystopian books. They both are about societies that have been controlled by the government to be perfect, and so these are great. I don't want to talk too much about them because I always tell myself that I am going to talk about it in a way that doesn't spoil anything, but I can't, so just know that these are very good books. These are very great about the general government controlling society. So I believe this one, not gonna lie, kind of let me down. The end, I was like, bruh. But it's still a good book for sure. This one, I'm trying to remember. I actually finished this one not too long ago. Whoopsies. And I've had it for years, but I think this one was, I still like this book. I can't remember the ending too much, but it was still a good book. It was still great. I also found this book called Parable of the Sower by Octavia E. Butler. This one is more post-apocalyptic, so it's good, but it's kind of I'm not too much into post-apocalyptic. There's a line between utopia and dystopia and post-apocalyptic. So this one, it's still good, but it's more post-apocalyptic or zombie type thing. Not necessarily zombies, but along those lines. So I was kind of like, But I also found this one, The Power by Naomi Alderman, which is, not only is it dystopian, but it's also feminist. So this book is pretty dope. This is one of my favorite books, for sure. I can't remember the ending of this one either, but this one is very good. I really love this book, for sure. And this one takes place in California, and on the I think it was the 90, not the 91, but it's on a freeway that goes up all the, like on the backbone of California, and so it's it feels dystopian because it's very realistic in terms of like if you live in California, you can kind of picture the things that are going on, and also because the girl, the main character, I forgot her name, Lauren, she's very, very close with her father, and it made me think of the relationship I have with my father. So this one, it'll really like get to you, but it's more post-apocalypse. So anyway, moving on. So earlier this year, as I was trying to finish reading Brave New World, I was doing my research and I found that there's this sort of holy trinity of dystopian books, and it's Brave New World, 1984, and a book called We by a Russian author. And so when I found out, I was like, you know what? I need the missing piece to the trilogy. So I decided to get that book. I forgot to show you my packages. These are my packages. I ordered books, and I don't know which book is in which book. There's 2 books in this bag. I've ordered 3 books. There's 2 books in this bag, and there's one in here. I'm scared because this one is very, very small. So this book is probably going to be done with very, very fast. Can you see that? And this is, one of these books is a freaking tome. So I don't know what book is where, but so one of the books that I ordered is We. I feel like it's in this bag. You know what? I'm just going to go ahead and open this and hope that this one is We, because if not, this video is not going to make any sense. My first unpackaging. This is very hard to open. It is We by Yevgeny. I'm assuming you don't pronounce the G. Yevgeny Zamyatin. This is very tiny. Oh my goodness, how many pages is this? 225 pages. That's not bad. But how many pages is this? 300. 200. Almost 300. This one is just barely, well, yeah, just barely 200. This book is supposed to be like one of these books that I talked about, like a society that is controlled by the government, and someone goes off to sort of bring it back. I'll read the back to you. And it says, set in the 26th century AD, Zamyatin's masterpiece describes life in the regimented, I don't like that word, totalitarian society of one state, ruled over by the all-powerful benefactor. The inspiration for George Orwell's 1984, We is the archetype of the modern dystopia or anti-utopia. A great prose poem detailing the fate that might befall us all if we surrender our individual selves to some collective dream of technology and fail in the vigilance that is the price of freedom. I am so excited to read this book. Oh my goodness. So, this is one of the books that I bought. And then, these next 2 books were recommended to me by, I believe a couple months ago, by my Ethnic Studies 100 professor. I told her that I like dystopian novels, and she told me about 2 books specifically. I'm like, drum roll, I'm like, should I keep the suspense? So, drum roll please. Oh, I hope I don't rip the book. I'm the lamest. I'm so good when I open things, like. The first one is The Water Knife. I think these next 2 books are by the same author, Paolo. Oh my goodness, this is a big book. Yeah, they're both by Paolo Bacigalupi. Yeah, these are the 2 books that my professor recommended to me. I'll start with The Water Knife, because The Water Knife has to deal with, I know the plot goes along with, not only is it dystopian, but it's also crime, and so that's very exciting. It In the near future, the Colorado River has dwindled to a trickle. Detective, assassin, and spy Angel Velasquez cuts water for the Southern Nevada Water Authority, ensuring that its lush arcology develops can bloom in Las Vegas. When water is more valuable than gold, alliances shift like sand, and only truth in the desert is that someone will have to bleed if anyone hopes to drink. So this one is 371 pages, but the font of this book is definitely a lot smaller, and the book is a lot bigger too. Like, look at these little tiny novels, and then look at this book. And this one too. I like the size of these because you can like clutch them in your little hand and, you know, take them everywhere. This book isn't as big, but it's still pretty big. But there's the water knife, and we also have the Windup Girl. I don't remember too much about this one when my professor talked to me about this one, but let's see what it is. It doesn't say anything, it doesn't say much on the back, but it does say a beautiful, fast-paced, exciting novel. A disturbing novel. My ethnic studies professor recommended these to me because they also talk about like morality and judgment and, you know, the divide between peoples. And so that was very much relevant to ethnic studies, but it's also dystopia, which I love. And then this one has crime, which doesn't love, like, you know, murder mysteries and stuff. So I'm very much excited to read this one. I'm probably gonna read this one first, because it's small. So these are the 3 books that I got. We, by this Russian author whose name I can't really pronounce. The Water Knife by Paulo, last name whose last name I don't want to butcher, and The Windup Girl, who is also by Paulo Bacigalupi. These are the 3 books that I got, and I'm very much excited to get to read them, especially since I enjoyed, of course, these other books. Can you tell I am a bookworm? I'm not that big a bookworm person. I feel like there are people who are more dedicated to reading than I am. Overall, I recommend 5 out of 5, 10 out of 10. These books, these 3, for sure. This one, for the category of dystopian novels, I wouldn't give this a 10 out of 10. I'd probably give it like an 8 out of 10. But if you're looking for a book that kind of talks about religion, because this one is not heavy on religion, but it is about like faith. And so if you're into faith and post-apocalyptic settings, then this one might be. I mean, I haven't really read a lot of books in that category, but this is a good book for those in that separate category. But for now, definitely The Power, George Alderman, George Orwell, and Aldous Huxley, I very much recommend. That's basically it for this book haul / review. I never thought I'd do anything like this, but if there's anything that I'd like for you to take away from this video, it's do not be afraid to try new things, no matter how big or how small, because you might end up enjoying it. I enjoy talking about, even though I didn't go into depth with each book, because I would very much rather you guys pick up these books and read them on your own. I'm just telling you that I recommend them if you do want to. Yes, you might end up trying something new. You might end up liking it. Just, of course, remember to do so responsibly. So that's going to be it for this video. I hope you all enjoyed, even though this was a little weird. It's different, that's for sure. I hope you all enjoyed. Please let me know if you have read or will read any of these books. Please let me know. I'd love to hear anything you have to say about it. I hope you're all staying healthy and staying home, and I will see you very, very soon. Goodbye. Like, I want to hug my books. I'm so happy that I have more books. So many books, so little time. I actually used to have a bookmark that said that on it, but I gave it away to somebody.